lived a man named Chinedu. Chinedu was not the wealthiest man in the village. He was not the most powerful. But if something needed to be done, everyone knew exactly who to call. If a roof started leaking during the rainy season, Chinedu would be there before the storm returned. If a farmer's tool broke in the middle of work, Chinedu would fix it without hesitation. If heavy firewood needed carrying or a fence needed rebuilding, Chinedu never waited to be asked twice. People often said, "Don't worry, Chinedu will handle it." And for many years, he did. At first, it filled him with pride. Being needed made him feel important. Every thank you warmed his heart. Every smile made the long days worth it. So he kept saying yes. Morning after morning, night after night, problem after problem. Chinedu gave his time, his strength, and slowly, without noticing, he began to give away his rest too. But something began to change. The pleas became fewer. The thank you became shorter. And eventually, they disappeared. People no longer asked if he was available. They no longer wondered if he was tired. They simply expected him. If something broke, they said, "Chinedu will fix it." If something was heavy, "Chinedu will carry it." It was no longer appreciation. It had become assumption. Then one Harmattan season, something unexpected happened. Chinedu fell ill. A deep weakness held his body down. For the first time in many years, he could not step outside to help anyone. At first, the village reacted with concern. A few neighbors came by with warm soup, and some stood at his doorway and wished him strength. But as days passed, the visits stopped, and outside, life continued. Through the small window beside his bed, Chinedu watched. A broken fence remained untouched for days. Then one morning, the owner picked up his tools and repaired it himself. A young man who always waited for help struggled with heavy logs, then called his brother, and together, they carried them. An older woman, who once believed she couldn't fix her leaking roof, climbed up carefully and patched it on her own. The village was not perfect without Chinedu, but it was moving. At first, his heart felt heavy. For years, he believed the village needed him for everything. But now he saw something he had never allowed himself to see before. They were capable. They just had never needed to try. Weeks later, Chinedu recovered. And when he finally stepped back into the village, something had changed. People still greeted him warmly. They still respected him. But now, they paused. "Chinedu," one man said, "do you have time to help me?" Another asked, "Would you be able to assist me later?" For the first time in years, they asked. One quiet evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, Chinedu met an elderly woman sitting beneath a large iroko tree. Her name was Mama Sade. Her eyes were calm, observant, as though she had seen many lives unfold before her. She watched Chinedu for a moment and smiled. "You have changed," she said gently. Chinedu sat beside her and nodded. "I was forced to stop helping," he replied, "and everything continued without me." Mama Sade picked up a small stone and placed it in the narrow path nearby. "Walk," she said. Chinedu stepped forward and moved slightly to the side, passing the stone easily. She nodded. Now imagine that stone had always been there. They would walk around it, Chinedu answered. "Exactly," she said softly. Then she moved the stone out of the path. But if someone removes the stone every time, people never learn how to walk around it themselves. Chinedu stared at the empty path. For years, he had been clearing every obstacle. He thought he was helping, but in truth. He had been teaching people not to try. Mama Sade stood slowly and adjusted her wrapper. Before she left, she said one final thing. Sometimes the greatest help you can give is stepping back. Chinedu remained there for a long time. That evening, he made a quiet decision. He would still help, but not always, not instantly, not endlessly. And something beautiful happened. The village grew stronger. People became more confident, more capable, more aware of each other. And Chinedu? He finally found balance. He still gave, but now he also rested. He still helped, but now he also lived. Because he had learned something many never do. Your presence is powerful, but when it becomes constant, it loses its meaning. Sometimes stepping back doesn't break relationships. Sometimes it finally makes them real. So today, ask yourself one simple question. Where in your life are you removing every stone? And what might happen if you left just one in place?